Thanks for joining us for the final episode of Battle for the Belt. Not even final for this year, but final. This is our third and last year of Battle for the Belt. We'll have more next year, but uh, the last Battle for the Belt for this project. So, Osler and I are going to talk a little bit about what we saw this growing season. First of all, we had a diversity of planting dates, and I'll let Osler talk a little bit about when we planted across Ohio this year.
Thank you, Laura, and it's good to be here reporting about this crop season 2025. We have three research stations, three research locations, one in Northwest Ohio, Wood County, second one in Western Ohio, Clark County, and the third one, Northeast Ohio, Wayne County. Those are our three research sites. And at each of those sites, we have 5 planting dates. Those planting dates vary depending on the location and the year. As we can see, planting day 1 for the Northern Ohio, we were as early as March 27 this year in the northern part of the state. Western Ohio, April 18th. We go every 2 weeks, roughly. We try to plant corn and soybeans. These are fields that are pretty much side by side. And we are tackling that big question of which crop should we plant first. Planting day 5, just fast forward, June 24th, June 23, and June 24th. So we have an span there, planting dates anywhere from March all the way into late June. This is a very comprehensive planting window and lots of good stuff that we are learning so far.
So those planting dates were extremely early. This is the earliest we've ever planted in that northern portion of the state, March 27th. But things were really slow to germinate and emerge and come out of the ground. These are pictures from April 13th, but these corn and soybeans were planted on March 27th. So you can see that they were not quickly moving along at all due to those early planting dates and cool temperatures. In contrast, the western location, this is West Central Ohio, we couldn't plant in March this year because conditions did not allow earlier planting in March. So our earliest planting date this year in Clark County was April 18th. But what's interesting that April 18th planting date was much more favorable in terms of soil temperatures. So our soybeans and corn were both emerging just about 8, 9 days after planting. So moving along very quickly in northern Ohio or more southern Ohio compared to northern Ohio. So Osler, what are these cold temperatures? What do they do on corn and soybean?
So as we can see in the visuals here on the slide, those are early cold temperatures in the field. We see some yellow banding in corn, a little bit of damage into those leaves. In the case of soybeans, also some damage in those edges, yellowish and dead tissue as well. Those are things that could concern anyone at the start of the season, but in our experience, there is a pretty good level of recovery that happens soon after once temperatures warm up. Mm-hmm. So nothing to be too concerned. We didn't see dead plants per se, other than the specific damage that you see on the screen. On this new slide, on the top left image, we see plots at the Northwest location planted on March 27th. On the top right, we see corn that was planted on April 16th. If we zoom in those two images in the top, basically we see that the corn that was planted on April 16th is not far from the corn that was planted on March 27th, more than 2 weeks early. So there is a convergence of staging that is happening, and that goes back to the point of cold temperatures, maybe wet soils, didn't allow a good start of the season when we were planting as early as March. Down below, we see the same story with soybeans. Soybean plots on the lower left, March 27th versus lower right, April 17th. And we see stage-wise just very small or slight differences. So that those soybeans that were planted 2 weeks later are almost catching up with whatever was planted on March 27th. On this newest slide, Northwest Ag Research Station, by the way, we should mention that we have our team is present in scouting plots almost on a weekly basis since the beginning of planting. So we get to see a wide spectrum of phenomenon and things happening in those plots. We are also collecting measurements as needed along the crop season. On the picture on the left is you see those tiny edges in a corn leaf showing purple coloration. That purple coloration, we often think about a buildup of sugars, which can happen with cooler temperatures or cooler nights. This purpling in the edges can also happen when we have soils that are saturated, meaning there is a slow process in the crop, it's a slow down. And this is something that we clearly noticed at the Northwest Station. We had a wet spring and also some wet conditions in early summer. Worcester campus, moving to a different corner of the state. B7 stage, 7 color leaves. That's just a little bit more than knee-high corn. We were already seeing northern corn leaf blight affecting the canopy. This is quite early. We know that we had heavy dew conditions. We had high humidity in this location for this particular planting date. This was planted on June 23rd, and the pictures were that picture was taken on July 21st. So the conditions were favorable, environmental conditions were favorable for disease development for this specific planting date at this location this season. Northwest Agricultural Station, as we move later into the growing season, this is now tasseling time, flowering time. These are plots that were planted on May 29th. And the photo was taken the last week of July. What we see there is a lot of tassel grab. We saw a lot of tassel grab for this particular planting date. That's something that I scouted myself. The 5 planting dates, only whatever was planted on May 29th was showing the tassel grab issue. I saw anywhere between 20 to 60% of the plants in a plot with tassel grab, as we see on the right side of the image. Western Agricultural Research Station, we have, this is corn that was planted on June 13, and photos were taken the week of September 22nd. As part of the treatments that we have out in those fields for corn, we are looking not only at planting dates, but we are also looking at seeding rates, and also we are looking at different hybrid relative maturities. For this particular issue in front of us, we are looking at different contrasting seeding rate plots. We have 16,000 seeds per acre on the left image, and we have the same hybrid planted at 40,000 seeds per acre on the right image. And what you see there is lodging as you have that high plant population. There is more interplant competition, and hence we have a weaker stock that will yield and lodge faster. So that's a clear visual and some of the implications of the management decisions that we have in our farm.
So there's a lot of pictures about corn, and I think I'll just talk about soybean. You know, with soybean, we didn't really see many diseases or many insects or as many abiotic stressors maybe as what Osler has mentioned for corn. One that we did see though at the end of the year was green stem. So green stem is when you have pods that are the mature color, but that stem remains green. And this is one of our plots at the Western Agricultural Research Station. And green stem can be caused by a lot of different factors. So the underlying reason for green stem is a problem with sources and sinks. So the sink of the soybean plant is the seed. So nutrients go from the source, which is the leaves and the stems, into the sink, which is the seeds. Under stressful conditions, there may be a lot of source and not a lot of sinks. And so that means those stems remain green. So we saw that this year at the Western Research Station. In terms of weather conditions, we actually had really fairly good rainfall in May, June, July. Uh, Ohio did enter the drought monitor with abnormally dry conditions about the first week of July, which you can see here just in a small portion of Western Ohio. Compared to last year Ohio was really dry and areas entered on the drought monitor in June. So drier conditions were later coming this year. And even in August, you can see some yellow pockets in the state, but certainly not as widespread as the year before. Come September, though, this is where we really had widespread dry conditions across the state. And really, August and September are really critical times to have rainfall for soybeans, especially because that's when the seeds are filling. And if we don't have adequate rainfall, we may not see seeds fill quite as much. But by that first week of September, things were getting dry. So this is the most recent drought monitor report that's available. It was released yesterday, October 9th. So we can see drought conditions continue across the state and really become more severe in that northwest portion of the state. From the soybean side, this probably isn't going to matter a whole lot. Our soybeans are almost done being harvested, but corn is still out there. You want to talk a little bit about corn, Osler?
Yes, up to this point, most of our soybean planting day plots are already out of the field. On corn, we are still waiting. We haven't harvested any corn yet. There are some of the last planted corn is still showing green tissue, green vegetation, still dent stage at minimum. So there can be a little bit of issues from this translating into our last planted crop, which was second half of June. So we will see what yield numbers we get later on, but for right now, it's just a waiting mode.
So this was a really fun project to work on. I'm really excited to see the yield data for 2025. It's still rolling in and it'll roll in for a little bit longer, but stay tuned this winter. Osler and I will be around Ohio during extension meetings and we'll be giving results not only for 2025, but really a summary of the 3-year study. And I gave a little teaser that we do have a new Battle for the Belt project. We're calling Battle for the Belt 2.0. Osler, do you want to give more than a teaser? What is Battle for the Belt 2.0?
We have started in 2025 is a new replanting decisions project where we are looking at thresholds for corn and soybeans. The main question there, how low of a population is too low to warrant a replanting scenario? So that's a new project. We will continue having fun and producing more materials, videos over the 2026 growing season as we have more progress on that new adventure.
Yep, and as always, make sure you follow along by subscribing to the core newsletter, our YouTube channel, OSU Agronomic Crops, or following either one of us on Twitter. You'll get updates about this study and also Battle for the Belt 2.0.